So we moved to co-governance or co-chairs reasonably early in our journey as a challenge, and we initially had basically a white male governance board, and I was the only woman, and we had 2 Māori out of 6 or 7 governors, and that's an interesting place to start, right? And when we decided not to have a kāhui, which lots of other challenges have a kāhui, which is a kind of a Māori advisory group, we went, why would we do that? Why wouldn't we be treaty partners inside the full governance? And so that journey was a really interesting journey with my peers, to the point where we mooted it. The white men led the way, and we had to change our constitutional document with all of the universities to form co-chairs. So that was just at the initial stage, is around co-chairs and the sharing of leadership, and then having a governance group that was fully co-governance as well. So we had a better mix of Māori, non-Māori, women, men. And so our governance group looks very different from what it did when we first started. And I think it adds a whole dynamic Aotearoa conversation at every single meeting. And I mean, being a co-chair, I'm a co-chair with Māori as well. That power sharing and leadership sharing is our way of working in all the things that we do, and it goes throughout our whole organisation. Co-chairs was actually easy because our leadership and the people on our leadership understood that we could lead together. Co-directors, where you've got accountability. We were challenged right at the beginning that it just was not possible to have clear accountability, financial accountability, clear delineation of roles and responsibilities, and we went, that's totally not right, we're just going to do it. Because actually I think there was more doubt that was stopping us from moving forward than actual fact. So we've done it. It was very smooth moving. It did help that we had co-governance already. We had that dynamic leadership, but also the people that we chose knew that their job was to be co-directors. That it wasn't you are working with Māori and you're working with non-Māori. Everything we do has a lens, and so it's bringing Te Ao Māori and Te Ao Tiriti into everything we do. So we have that wearing glasses lens where it comes together so we can see each other's perspectives, each other's worldviews, and it filters right through our whole challenge. It actually started in our initial decisions. So when our first decisions were made, Vision Mātauranga was one of the standards that research projects had to meet, and we went, no, that's not actually good enough. We want to see that you have co-design, co-development with your communities that you're working with. We want to know that you're working with Māori communities, not a Māori person or all sorts of other options that came up. And actually all of our research projects that started had to really rethink how they engaged in partnership with their Māori communities. And it's made such a difference to all of our programs. I was so proud in the beginning. We are competitive because we are number 11 of 10 science challenges. We're the forgotten challenge. I was very proud that in the beginning we had the most Māori researchers out of all of the, I might be making stuff, we had the most Māori researchers out of all of the challenges. And it wasn't because we had a Māori stream, which we did, it was because every single research program had to have kaupapa Māori research in it.
So how do you achieve the equitable outcomes in the mahi that you do?
So one of the tools that we have, and it's one of many, is that and this sort of came out of a review that we had in 2018 and again in 2020. It was great. You've got Māori research happening, but what about your structure? What about your systems? What about your decision making? And so we developed a decision making tool, which ended up being the tool to make decisions with all research coming through looking for funding. And that tool really had a core sort of number of questions that we needed to ask of every piece of research. And so, does the research have Māori as well as non-Māori principal investigators? Are Māori active participants in the research? Are there clear processes to protect Māori cultural and intellectual property? And are there clear mechanisms to ensure that the Te Tiriti is being operationalised through the research? So we actually didn't fund some research because they didn't meet that criteria. They had to go back and relook at what they were doing and come back to us again. So,
What was the response to that?
people got it. People absolutely got it. They would sort of, in an essence, ticking a box, weren't they? And then they had to actually properly think about it.